the channel, our unboxing and reviews continue with Jack's Class Superstar Series 11, Fabulous Moolah, and Ken Shamrock.
The spirit of the warrior will run forever!
Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another Jack's Class Superstar Series 11 unboxing and review. And today, we've got the Fabulous Moolah, and we've got the world's most dangerous man, Ken Shamrock. But for all your wrestling figure needs from Mattel and Jazzwares, make sure you're hitting up Ringside Collectibles. Use discount code Kyle, save yourself 10%. And of course, we're going to do this review kinda like we do all the other reviews on the channel. We're going to take a look at the packaging. We're going to talk about it. We already have them unboxed, so we won't have to unbox them, but we're still going to talk about them. So without further ado, let's kick it off. Let's start with Fabulous Moolah. This is actually the only figure Fabulous Moolah has ever had. Moolah has never had another figure besides this. Never got an LJN back in the day. Never got a Hasbro. Never got anything else. So this is it. Of course, a very controversial figure in wrestling all these years later. Not thought of the best in this day and age, but of course in the mid-90s and things like that up through the 2000s. Really thought of as a groundbreaking women's performer, and she still was. Maybe just didn't treat things and do things the way they probably should have been done is what it sounds like. But an interesting figure, and one that does fit in the Classic Superstars line. Of course, we also got Mae Young. We'll talk about her in the future on the channel, so stay tuned for that. But a fabulous version of Fabulous Moolah here. An older version, but really she always looked old. I mean, she looked old from 1979 all the way till she stopped coming around and I guess died. Basically looked the same age, which isn't a bad thing, of course. A lot of people tell me, Kyle, you look the same as you've looked since you were like 16 years old. You haven't changed a bit. Maybe they're right. Who knows? But Fabulous Moolah here, of course, part of the WrestleMania ticket promotion. Soft goods throughout, and we'll dissect that with the figure when we get her out of the package here. Fabulous Moolah on the side. Little glamour shot right there. And then on the back, we got the big cross-sell, the big Series 11. Of course, we're unboxing all these on the channel. Check those out. We got the glamour shot, tail of the tape, the blurb, the cross-sell, the ticket promotion, all that kind of fun stuff. And don't forget about the old UPC. We love that UPC. The Fabulous Moolah debuted 1972. Is that correct? I felt she was before that. I'd have to look that one up, but I think she was before 72. Weight, 138 pounds. Height, 5'5". Titles, honors, Women's Champion, WWE Hall of Fame inductee. So good for her. We're off to the side with Moolah, and through the magic of YouTube, we have her out of the package already. An interesting one. One that did not set the world on fire. We talk about it all the time. It's just the hard facts that women's figures do not move as fast as the male figures. It's just the way it works out there. I would assume in Barbie figures, guess what? Ken probably doesn't sell at the same velocity as Barbie. I think that's just the nature of the toy brands. When you're primarily going after the boy audience, you're primarily going after the girl audience. I have to think so with my old business hat on. But Moolah is an interesting one. Peg warmer or not, still interesting. Does fit in the Classic Superstars line for sure. But she does have the typical Jack's female body, the one they give to every single female out there. However, they dressed it up with soft goods to kind of hide it and maybe change the body up a little bit. And that's the best they could do with Jack's at the time. But a nice soft goods jacket on her, and then a nice soft goods singlet underneath, which I thought was a really nice touch with this. And of course, you got a little Velcro there on the shirt. Looks really good. Kind of bedazzled going on. All kinds of polka dots all over the place that would really make Dusty Rhodes blush. Really, at the end of the day, it would. But very good. I think if you give somebody this head sculpt and they know wrestling, they're going to know this is Fabulous Moolah all day long. A good head sculpt for Moolah looks right to me. Looks good for sure. Just overall, a good Moolah figure. I don't know if Jack's could have done better than this, really, at the time. We didn't get any more Moolah figures, like I said. We haven't got one with Mattel. Have to have thought we would have probably got one with Mattel if all of her demons, whatever you want to call them, didn't come out. We did get Mae Young, however, in the Classic Superstars line and in the Mattel Elite line. And like I said, we'll talk about her in the future here. But Moolah looks pretty good. Got her orange hair going on. Like I said, you know it's her face all day long. She's got her white boots, low-top boots going on, wrestling boots. No fists for Moolah, just a slapping hand in case she needs to put somebody in check or get them back in line. But Fabulous Moolah, not too shabby, like I said, for as far as female figures go in the Classic Superstars line. I think it's warranted. I think it does make sense. So there's Fabulous Moolah. Now we turn our attention to the world's most dangerous man, and at the end of the day, probably Kyle's best friend. Ken and I hit it off a couple years ago. friends forever, friends for life from that point on. And Ken Shamrock, one of my all-time favorite wrestlers. When he debuted in the WWF, of course, I'd been following him in the UFC at the time. I was so hyped up, so jazzed up for his entrance into wrestling, and he did not disappoint. He should have had a world title run. I know he had some of his demons and things like that. He wanted to get back to the UFC, wanted to get back to mixed martial arts. But man, Ken Shamrock, a moment in time that I will never forget, and an all-time favorite of young Kyle and old Kyle as well. Without further ado, let's take a look at old Ken Shamrock here, the world's most dangerous man, as he's always known, in Series 11 here. But beautiful, beautiful Ken Shamrock. All day long, you know that's Ken Shamrock. He does come with a ticket for the WrestleMania promotion. He does come with the Intercontinental title. Never forget, Intercontinental Champion Ken Shamrock. One of the toughest dudes of all time. Ken Shamrock on the side. Glamour shot over there. Of course, he looks like a young Robert De Niro these days. He looks good. He looks good. I wish I looked like Ken when I was his age. UPCs, warnings, cross-sells, tail of the tape, blurbs. It's all there. It's all there for the Ken Shamrock man, my favorite. Debuted 1990, 235 pounds, 6'1", finishing move the ankle lock, titles, Intercontinental Champion. Of course, he did debut in professional wrestling, then went to mixed martial arts. So very interesting chain of events there. Then went back to wrestling, then went back to mixed martial arts, then went back to wrestling, and bounces around to this day. I think his career is done as far as the MMA side, but you never know. He might come back to professional wrestling. I do miss him on Impact for sure. We do know Ken Shamrock is coming in hot with a couple of elites later on this year. You guys know I'll be ready for that, and we'll be ready for that here at the table here. But through the power of YouTube, we got Ken Shamrock out of the package, ready to go. And Ken looks absolutely fabulous. I remember at the time when I got this, I bought one of the Rocky Jacks figures because it came with a robe that went well with this, and I switched it over to here. So that is one thing a lot of people did back in the day. This Ken Shamrock is fabulous. We do have a Mattel Elite, very similar style to this one, and I did mention we got a green and blue version coming to the Legends line. Like I said, I can't wait for that. But I thought as far as classics go, if you're going to make a Ken Shamrock, this is probably your safest bet. This is probably his most iconic gear at the end of the day. He does got the MMA gloves going on his hands. We saw those with Undertaker. We saw those, the UFC line. We saw those many a times. Using parts, getting the most out of your molds, as we always say. Red trunks here with Shamrock across it. Got two black knee pads, of course, black boots. Got the kick pads there and the red for Shamrock. Definitely looks like him in the face department all day long. Just a fabulous, fabulous representation. And one of my favorite figures of all time, this Ken Shamrock. I don't know if it's a top 10 Jakks Classic figure. There's so much good stuff. But one of my favorite figures, obviously. And so few Ken Shamrock figures over the years. I wish there was more. And Mattel, like I said, has given us some more, so that is a good thing. Of course, he does come with the Intercontinental title belt, which is fitting. He was Intercontinental Champion. Never forget his matches with The Rock, of course. Just all around a fabulous, fabulous one, this Ken Shamrock. A must-have in any Classic Superstars collection. Who are we fooling? Must-have in any wrestling figure collection is this Ken Shamrock. Moolah, you can take her or leave her, I am sure. But Ken, even if he won't stand up, is a must-have for me. But is he a must-have for you? Let me know in the comments down below. Let me know your thoughts on this Ken Shamrock figure. Let me know your excitement for the new Ken Shamrock figures that are coming very, very soon. Don't forget to like this video. You made it this far, you might as well. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on the old notification bell. Follow along on social media at SirPaul64 on Twitter, Instagram, _Kyle_Peterson, Patreon, giveaways, bonus content, exclusive content, and of course, Classic Superstars videos months upon months upon months earlier than traditional YouTube. So check that one out in the link in the description below. So for the fabulous Moolah and the world's most dangerous man, I am Kyle, and I'll see you guys all real soon.